All right. Hello, everyone, and good morning and good evening to folks joining in from elsewhere from the world. My name is Karthik Raghupati, and before we get started, just wanted to do a quick mic check. Am I audible? Maybe you can just let me know in the chat. Uh, can you guys hear me? Can you folks hear me? Yes, Gold Zulu, thank you for that. And can you folks hear Justin here? Justin, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon, wherever you may be. Hope you're having a great day. And hopefully you all can hear me. We've got some magic here where we're able to, project ourselves into the same stream. And so we just want to make sure that we've got all of our audio working. So,
Yeah, so Justin, I think a lot of people are saying yes, so it sounds good. So, Justin, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself for people who are joining us new here?
yes. So thanks for tuning in. My name is Justin Jeffers, and I am an evangelist at Amazon and Alexa, and I teach people how to build Alexa skills. And we've recently, as of 7/22, had Alexa Live, and this office hours is a follow-up to that, where you can ask your technical questions related to the content that we announced there. And so I did a session about Alexa conversations, which is a new way how to build conversational interfaces faster with Alexa. And Karthik is also here to answer your questions about the topics he covered at Alexa Live. And how many features did you cover? I think it was like 9 or something like that.
Yeah,
It was a lot.
yeah, roughly around nine or so. Yeah, five in the first set, 5 to 6 in the first set, and then three in the last. So, yep,
Wow.
quite a few exciting features at Alexa Live, right? Uh, and
Yes.
so I think the way we are going to do this, Justin, is maybe you get started and you start talking about Alexa conversations. If the viewers have any questions, please let us know in the chat, and I'll take those questions and I'll ask you, Justin, if there are some questions. So how do you want to do it? Do
Yeah.
you have something to show us?
Yeah, so I see a couple questions coming through, and I also want to point out that we have a few people who are in the chat who are here to assist us with our questions regarding Alexa conversations. So if you ask me a tough question and I don't know the answer to it, I do have some people closer to the product that will be able to assist with that. So don't be shy, ask away. Let me see here. We've got a couple. The chat. Let's see. Yeah, is my screen shared at the moment? Yes, it is. Okay, great.
Yep.
I've got two computers over here, and I had to see. I'm not able to see what yours. Okay, anyway, I won't go into that. But I'm able to see that my screen is now being shared. Okay, so there's what I'm going to do is create a new file, and I'm just going to drop the questions that I get into this file so that way I can track them. So first question that I see here from, I'm not sure how to pronounce this person's name, Inoho. Hi, we're building a companion app for Alexa to set up our Alexa device, but we're having issues with the Amazon shopping on Android. Wonder if this is something I can get some help on in this session. I don't know. I've never done anything with the Amazon shopping app on Android. Karthik, is this one of the features that you covered at Alexa Live?
No, not really. Not something that I did
Okay.
that. So not going to be much help
Okay.
there.
All right. I've got the question tracked. We'll
Yeah.
see if I can pass it
Yep.
on to somebody. Let's see. There was. I think if there's a way to create. Okay, here we go. This is from Habuma1. And the question is, and let me make my text a little bigger. I don't know how to make this wrap, but this.
I think there's a option in the format option there, right? Format and word wrap.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that,
But but
but it's okay.
yeah.
Saying, wonder if there's a way to create Alexa conversations with the CLI rather than going through the dev console. I see nothing showing that it's possible, but I'm almost able to do everything with the CLI. I would like Alexa conversations to do that way too. Yes. So I want to say thank you for your patience. Alexa Conversations is in beta at this time, and so at this moment there is no support for the CLI. But I would say, stay tuned. Um, you know, um, we're still in beta, and so at some point we will have CLI. I just don't know when that will be. I don't know if anyone in the chat who's from the Alexa Conversations team can share that information to you when they think that will be. Most likely not, but it is definitely something that people are asking for, and again, I ask you, please pardon our dust while we're in beta. There's lots to work on. It's always day one at Amazon. So, but yes, thank you for that question. Let's see, we have Zap5Zap. I think that's how you pronounce that. That's XAP. Asks, hello, does Alexa Conversations work with dynamic entities? And that's another one of those, sorry, pardon our dust while we're working through beta. So at this time, Alexa Conversations does not support dynamic entities. I don't really know when that's coming, but the engineering team, product team is aware of that dynamic entities don't work with Alexa Conversations, and they're working towards something with that. So again, I don't know when release dates are coming, but one thing that I do want to point out is after today's office hours for Alexa Live, we're going to be doing Alexa Conversations based office hours, and that's going to be every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And during those office hours, I'll be able to check in with you all about the new things and updates, and new features that are being added and updated to Alexa Conversations during beta. So I would highly recommend that you check out that stream starting next Monday, so that way you'll be up to date on all of the new things. And so when things do come, you'll be able to know them firsthand. So like when CLI support is added and when dynamic entities come available, you'll know if you follow the office hours then. So,
yeah. Hey, Justin, may I just ask you to just move your windows a bit to the left, the code to the left?
Oh, sure. Yes, it's getting clobbered by our pip. Yes.
There we go. That's
all right. And I just lost my chat window. So there we go. Let's see. Skingaby1 says, how do I create a skill that allows Alexa to ask open-ended questions? I don't know if that would be if you would even be able to get that certified. You have to, when you ask a question, you have to, part of the certification guidelines is you have to have a question that you ask on. So you can't just say something and stop. Do you have anything to add to that, Carmen?
No, yeah, I agree with you, Justin. I think just asking open-ended question is not the nature of Alexa skills in general. Maybe not right now, for sure. So it just becomes very difficult to handle conversations with that, right? So I don't think that's allowed at this point.
Great. Yes. Mr. Survival Expert says the quality of the shared screen isn't great, or is it just me? I don't know. My computer, I'm on a shared graphics card here, and sometimes that wreaks havoc with my system. I'm actually in the process of doing a custom build on a computer, so that way I'll be able to stream better from home. So please bear with my bad slow computer.
Yeah, and I'm just praying my computer just holds up for the entire stream, so that I'm just making sure that it doesn't get heated up, and if it does, I do have some water to pour on it. Just kidding. Sorry,
Right.
go ahead, Justin.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, there's people in here saying that the resolution of the code is unreadable. I did try to. Yeah, I'm not showing code at this moment, so we just got the questions up at the moment. Let's see. How might I integrate Skill Flow Builder with Alexa Conversations? Is SFB Editor a good tool to start with, or would I be better? Okay, so that's a really good question. I haven't actually tried to use the Skill Flow Builder with Alexa Conversations, so I don't know if you would be able to build the Skill Flow Builder pieces into your skill. But I think one thing that you might be able to do is use interop ability where you can delegate from the skill flow builder part to the Alexa Conversations part. And we actually have a sample on GitHub. I'll share this in the chat. But if you go to Alexa or github.com/Alexa cookbook and you go to the feature demos Alexa Conversations page, I will paste that into the chat. There is 2 skills in here for reference. You've got Intro to Alexa Conversations and Piece of Reference skill, and I believe both of these use that delegation that I was talking about, where you can delegate from your interaction model to Alexa Conversations, and you can also go from Alexa Conversations back to the interaction model. And the way you would do that is you just add a directive, and you can see here we have our type. And let me zoom in a little bit. Hopefully the resolution looks good. I apologize again, my integrated graphics card is not the greatest, and I'm in the process of upgrading my computer. So bear with me while I wait for parts to arrive. But you can see we've got dialog.delegate request, and then the target here is amazon.conversations. And so that's how we are delegating to to Alexa Conversations. And in this case, we have, I think this might be responding to, yes, a APL touch event. So you can even like delegate from, if you're using APL and someone taps on the screen, you can have a tap delegate over to Alexa Conversations. So what you could do is like, you could have your game world sort of be like the hub world, be, your interaction model, and then the part that you want to like, where you have like a little bit of ambiguous conversation where you might, like the user might correct their actions that are taking place in the game, have all of that done in Alexa Conversations. And then once they've completed that goal in the game, then you delegate back to, the game part. So, I don't know much about the compatibility between Skillflow Builder and Alexa Conversations, but you might be able to do you might be able to use this delegation to like write your own piece of the code to delegate to Alexa Conversations. So that was a good question. Let's see. Did I copy and paste that into the? No, I didn't. I should have. That was from Toad Ogre. I love these screen names. All right. So let's go to the next. Let's see. AppGreat says, any plans for adding a slot type for hexadecimal numbers? That's a good question. I do not know. But for things like this, what I would suggest that you do is go to alexa.uservoice.com. And I will drop this link into the chat.
I'll paste the link as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. So here you can go and submit any feature requests that you may have. And if there's any, like what I would suggest that you do is come here first, check to see if somebody else has created it. And if they have, upvote them. If not, then submit the request. And you can see there's quite a few different requests in here, and they've got various upvotes. So, our teams are monitoring this, and we check out and see what the feature requests are coming in. And this does help, the teams prioritize and figure out what they want to build to meet customer demand. So, I would say if you have, that hexadecimal slot, go ahead and submit it there at user voice.
Hey Justin, TradeLast has a
Yes.
really good call out where he mentions that many of our general questions that's being asked right now can be also asked during regular weekly office hours.
That's true.
Yep.
Yes, good point. Yes, so so thank you for that. Yes, well, we are answering questions. Let's try to keep the questions focused on Alexa conversations and also on the features that, Karthik, did you list off which features that you had spoken about at Alexa
I'm
Live?
yet to, but I can start speaking it. I've remembered that in my head. So, do you want me to recite them? Sure. So we started with Dnn models. We announced that we have Dnn models for skills. So skills are now using Dnn, and which allows skills accuracy to generally increase. Then we talked about multi-value slots, right? which is one of the most interesting things to come out of Alexa Live, where you can say things like, Alexa, ask a skill to add pineapple and olives to your pizza, right? A lot of people were not happy with my topping choices during Alexa Live on my pizza, but yeah, multi-value slots is something that we support right now. Then uh, we have the ASR evaluation tool, which allows you to record audio and test it against the audio, the ASR engine for the skill, to see how your utterances are performing. Really super useful tool. That's something that went live just before Alexa Live, and we demoed it in my talk. Then we talked about shared slots and catalog management, where you can kind of take a slot out of a skill sandbox and can use it between multiple skills now, right? And you can also do something where this could be, all these shared slots can come in from a catalog and they can get updated. So like, let's say you have like a web service, right? And you got new features or new dishes being added to your restaurant service. You could pull them through an API, create a JSON, and update it for both your skills that use these slot types, right? So that's something that I feel was super cool that we launched. Um, and then on the accuracy end, the last feature that we talked about was Alexa entities, right? Which was one of the coolest features that I am really excited for. And there's a developer preview that is open right now. And basically, what Alexa entities does is for slot types, like let's say, for example, the movie slot type or the actor slot type. With every slot type, you are going to get like a URL that you can, a knowledge URL that we call it, and you can make an HTTP request to that URL, and you'd get back more information about that actor. So let's say you have an actor, you have a game where you have to find out who the actor is. But then when you call the API, you can get more info about the actor, like the pictures or something more about them, like the movies that they have acted in. And all of this information comes from the biggest information engine that we have built underneath Alexa and whatever it powers on a general basis. Whew. So that was the accuracy part of my talk. And then we had personalization. There we go. Yeah. So with respect to personalization, we had three simple features, and those features were basically app-to-app account linking, where you can now account link if you have the, let's say for example, the ride hailer app on your mobile phone and you have the Alexa app on your mobile phone, you can just click on the enable button and you can go to the app, right? So you don't have to, no one remembers their username and password, right? So this is like a super useful tool for people in general. And then we have the person profile API, which allows people who have trained Alexa devices to share their voice ID with the skill. Now you can also ask for their personal information as well, like email and mobile number to get started with. And last but not the least, we have limit access, where you could limit access to a skill where the user has to set a voice pin, and only if that user speaks to the skill, only then their experience gets unlocked. So, well, yeah, I think roughly 6 to 9 features, right? Those were my features. I know that was a bit of a stretch, but yes.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of different things to cover. So please try to keep your questions in that domain.
Yep.
Maybe it would make sense to like list those out in the chat, Karthik. But I did see a question from Laldi Labs here that says, for now, would you advise building Alexa conversation skills as Alexa hosted skills? And I would say, it's up to you to decide how you want to host your backend. You can use AWS Lambda as your skill endpoint. You can use Alexa hosted. There's these templates when you go into the Alexa developer console. You can create and you can choose, like, I'm just going to create a quick sample here, but I've got Alexa hosted selected. I could also provision my own. It's really up to you. If you wanted to do something besides Node.js or Python, you would want to provision your own. Say you wanted to do Java. But if you do, regardless, you can specify a template to build your skill, and like you can use the intro to Alexa conversations, the weatherbot skill, and then Karthik's little pip window, which you don't get to see, is covering my screen over here, so I gotta move that. You can see the pizza ordering example here also has Alexa conversations. Any of these tags that have Alexa conversations, you can open up and view them. And so that's a good way to get started and to see, how the models and things and the conversations are built out. But that template is separate from your backend. So you could, roll your own backend, and there's a way how to do that without using Alexa hosted. One question that I got on Slack the other day was, how do I turn Alexa conversations on in my skill? Do I need to be added to a specific beta preview? And I just wanted to show and demonstrate that real quick with everybody watching, just so you can see how it is. So instead of choosing one of these three templates, because if you choose one of these three templates, it'll already be on for you. I want to, simulate what you would do is if you already had a skill that you had created and you want to add Alexa conversations to it. So the way you would do that is I'm just going to go ahead and create the skill using the Hello World skill template. So this doesn't have Alexa conversations attached to it. And then once this finishes, I'm going to go to the interfaces tab and turn on the Alexa conversations piece. And it should be down near the bottom of the page, close to the APL, Alexa Presentation Language section. So I think it's provisioning AWS resources. I think that means it's getting close to the end of provisioning everything it needs to do for me. So here we go. Code editor is the last step.
Right. And is this something that I can also update? So let's say I have an existing skill and I use the CLI, so I could go in my skills.json and I could update it as well. Am I correct in that?
So you would be able to, with the CLI, you would be able to turn on the interface, but you wouldn't be able to download and edit the Alexa Conversations model piece. You would have to do all of that in the UI at this moment in time. And that ties into the question that we had earlier about CLI support. Like, I want to be able to, use CLI with Alexa Conversations, and that is currently not supported at this time. So, now, this is our skill. Let's say this is something that we have, and we want to go and add Alexa Conversations to it. You would click on this interfaces piece of the user interface. Let me close some of these windows. If I scroll to the bottom, you can see here this nice little beta sticker here. We've got Alexa Conversations, and if you toggle this switch on, you can see now what we can do is, if we wanted to, in our launch request, delegate to Alexa Conversations, we could use the delegation method that's here. This is for a touch, but it's similar. But in your handler, you would add the directive and do a dialog.delegate request. Oops, I got too many tabs.
Right, and I think we're still getting a bit of issues with the text in general. So
yes, I'm sorry about that. You can see my my activity monitor is going off.
So I think
my computer is.
Yeah, you can share some of these things on the Slack channel as well, right?
Yes. Yes, and then there's this checkbox here that allows. Oh yeah, I can kind of see over on the preview on Twitch that it's slowing down. So, but you can see here there's this little checkbox, and you can check that and make Alexa Conversations be the default dialog manager. And that's actually, if you followed the pet match tutorial example that we have, we actually have you create Alexa Conversations as the default dialog manager. But if you go to the cookbook and you go to the pizza skill, pizza reference skill, this one should, if I'm not mistaken, delegate like the, where is it? I think there is a delegate in this example. There it is. So this is in the yes intent handler. There's a yes/no question that gets that you answer, and then it delegates over to Alexa Conversations to start doing the magic of ordering a pizza. So I would really highly recommend that you check out the pizza reference skill. And again, I apologize for any resolution and issues caused by my computer. Like I said, I'm in the process of sourcing a new machine.
Yep, pretty soon we'll have some
These problems will be going away at some point.
Yep.
Um, okay, I got a question here from Ho about AVS. I'm going to capture this question, and I'm going to uh, direct this to somebody who would be able to answer this. This is an AVS question, and I know nothing about AVS.
Yep.
I know that there's 2 other Alexa Live office hours sessions this week, and I think one of them will have some AVS people on the stream, so you might be able to ask that question there. I will also, after this, follow up with my team and ask, like, hey, I got this during office hours, how do I provide an answer to this? What's the answer? Let's see. Skill flow builder question.
So there's a question that
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to just get it from the Dream Saver. I think the Dream Saver had a question.
Oh, I see it. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was a good question about
Yes.
how different
Yep.
is Alexa conversations from auto dialogue delegations? Or is it more like a combination of manual dialogue delegation plus state checks in backend plus kind of like intent chaining?
Yeah. So that's a really good question. So, auto delegation is okay, you have 3 different types of dialogue managers. You've got dialogue management, and then you've got auto delegation, and then you've got Alexa Conversations. So dialogue management is totally like hands-on. Like, so you have each turn of the dialogue, you get a request that gets sent to your skill's backend, and your skill has to send back a dialogue directive. And so that dialogue directive could be one of a few things. It could be dialogue.delegate, which just tells Alexa to the Alexa service to prompt for the next missing required slot. And then you have to, in your backend, decide what to do with that value. And then you could also elicit a slot. So there's dialogue.elicit. So say there's a slot value that you specifically want to ask for. You can do elicit slot and then pass it the name of the slot that you want to elicit and the question that you want to ask. Then there's a confirm intent confirm slot, and those allow you to confirm that you heard the user correctly. So Alexa, so dialogue management is very hands-on. At each turn of the interaction, your backend code has to do some work, and you have to keep track of the state. If you were to switch, dialogue management works with intent utterance-based skills, and so if the user were to say something that triggers one of your other intents, you lose that dialogue management context. And so if they say something that comes back to the dialogue management based intent, then all of that information gets lost, and so your skill sort of has amnesia.
Right.
And so it's up to you as the developer to keep track of that information. So you would want to store that information up in the session attributes, and then when you come back to it, restore that. And so it's very hands-on, very manual. Auto delegation gives you only one request, and that request is after all of the required slots that you have prompted for, or that you have beforehand said these are the required things. So you don't get a request at each turn. You only get one request, and that request is at the very end. So those are the non-AI assisted dialogue managers. Alexa Conversations is you get the benefits of artificial intelligence and machine learning to help you with the challenges of voice. And so, it's very natural. So, let me take a step back. Alexa, dialogue management is great for linear multi-turn interactions where the interaction goes in the way that you like you as a voice designer thought that the user would interact with your skill. But it's very natural for conversations to deviate from that predefined interaction that you created. And so Alexa Conversations helps, like, when you click that build button, uh, it goes through, the AI figures out like all the different ways that it could deviate from your skill's happy path, the sample dialogue that you create. And then it also keeps track of the conversational context. So if your user's in the middle of, filling out some information that you need, providing some information that you need in order to perform a task, and they say something and it, switches context, when they say something that goes back to that dialogue flow, it'll continue where it left off. So that's something you get for free. So that's really, really cool. So, um, um,
Yeah.
like Alexa Conversation's a little less hands-on, and so like with Alexa, with dialogue management, like you're like really deep in the thick of it, like having to come up with, and at each turn of the interaction, you get a request and you have to send a response back. Whereas with Alexa Conversations, it's similar to auto delegation, where you only get one request once all the necessary information to call that API has been collected. But you can have multiple APIs in a dialogue. And so we demonstrate how to do that in the pet match sample in module, which one is that? Is that module? Yeah, module 6. We show you how to add. So you go through, you get, so pet match is a skill that recommends dogs to people based upon their preferences. And in module 5, you learn how to enable the user to be able to say, what is that? What kind of dog is that? Tell me more. And then it will, make another API call with the results of the previous API call to then tell you more about the dog. So, yeah, it's pretty cool that you can expand upon that. So, yeah, like Alexa Conversations is pretty deep, and there's lots of things that you can learn. And I know that was a long answer to your question, but I think it helps to understand like what the three different dialogue managers are.
That's pretty detailed and pretty informative. I have not jumped into Alexa conversations so far, so really helpful stuff, Justin. Do you want to take a few more questions?
Sure, yes, we got about like 30 minutes. So I got a question here from Div I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. Diva Kel, asking, I followed the example on how to make sure all slots are filled with conversations before calling my API. I don't know if someone's answer is in range until after they hit my API.
API.
In conversations, how do I manage a response from my API that is essentially, did you really mean that number? I see. So like, say, you ask for a number and they can only have like a maximum of 99, and say they say 100. So what you could do, yeah, this is one of those things that I would like to like experiment with and like do a live like design session, because I think, because what you'll need to do is you'll need to change what your question is going to be. Maybe what you would do is you would use a confirmation, like, do you mean that?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody listening in would be able to better direct and answer this question. But this is something I would like to maybe experiment with, maybe on another Alexa, like on Monday, if I get some free time for questions, I might do a live thing for this. So let me put like a star next to this.
And I've posted the Slack link as well in the chat.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Let's see. ISP keeps getting rejected. We have a popular skill support, not helpful. Our product is being, yes. For ISP related questions, I would say, I can't answer or Advice I
Maybe
can
what we
start
could
making.
do is you can go on to alexa.design/contact us and file a case with our
Yes.
developer advocacy group and just file in the ticket and then maybe reach out to any of us over Twitter and share your case ID and maybe we can get the teams to look into that. Aman
Yes, Aman
87.
87.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, and could you drop that link? It was
Contact
alexa.design/contact
us.
us.
Let me just drop that in alexa.design/contact us. There we go. I'll just put that in the chat.
Yes. Oh, Joe's tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, Joe.
Hey, Joe. All right.
All right. Let's see. We got a question about echo frames. Let's see.
And do you have an echo frames, Justin?
I do not. I wear glasses.
So do I.
But let's see. Like, I know this isn't Alexa Conversations question, but I think it has something to do with slots. So, Amazon number slot number 2 and 4, they sometimes come through as two. Oh, okay. Yes. So this is a really simple thing that you can do if you look into entity resolution. You can add as synonyms to 2 and 4 to be TO and FOUR. So if you, yeah, just take a look at entity resolution and that, or yes, and that should help you solve that problem. Okay, rapid fire. All right, let's go. Trade last says, let me copy this, paste it in. Oh, was this the general? Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Again, if you have questions outside of Alexa Conversations, please tune into our normal office hours. Let's see here. Trouble with handling irrelevant answers, building kids guessing game. Yeah, RDG UCI. I'm gonna direct you to ask your question during our normal office hours. But thank you for your question. Let's see. Low confidence utterances. Okay, yes, that's the same thing or same question. I will make a note of the question, but I would direct you to ask your question during our normal office hours on Tuesdays at 9. So let's see. We've got
Urban Blaster is asking after that, is conversations only available to EN/US applications?
yes, Urban Blaster. So yes, at this time, Alexa Conversations is only available to EN/US. So you can create skills. If you're say based in India, you can create an Alexa Conversations based skill and release it, but you have to release it in the US skill store because it only is supported by EN/US at this time. So if you were to go into, like, say you created, a skill in a different language that wasn't EN/US, and you went to that interfaces tab and you wanted to turn Alexa Conversations on, you wouldn't be able to. So
Right. And
that's something to.
just on the topic, if there are some Indian developers watching the stream, it's 9 p.m., almost 10:40 p.m. here, so I'm sure some of you might be joining in us here. The hackathon that we are doing, that is the Alexa
Yes.
Conversations hackathon, is open to Indian developers as well. So do participate in
Yes.
there and join us on this hackathon.
Yes, and I just dropped the link to the hackathon. And one, as a side note, when you join the hackathon, you'll be invited to a Slack group. And this is the Slack group. Hopefully the resolution isn't too bad. I again apologize for that. But we are pretty lively in here. We've got a bunch of different channels that you can go into and talk to people and form teams, get your questions asked and answered. And tomorrow we're going to be doing an AMA there at 9 a.m. And so join up, sign up for the hackathon, create your account for Slack, and join us in the Alexa Skills Challenge, Alexa Conversations chat room to ask your questions. And one of the great things about Slack is, I can paste code in here and, rather than talk through the code. So, and then you can also look at other people's answers and things and see, oh, this works for me, this helps. So just wanted to drive awareness to the Slack channel for the hackathon. So great. I'm going to continue going through some of the questions that we have here. So, all right. See if I can find any more. That's Kirk C. Thank you so much for providing answers in the chat. I see you're answering a lot of people, and also TG Cool, you're doing a great job too with answering questions. Let's see. Ghostbag Zach says, I'm still familiarizing myself with conversations, but I'm trying to see how would I allow the user to make two actions and be able to dictate the order of those actions, as it's important for the skill to be able to do one before the other and change before committing the action. Would the best way to deal with this to listen for slots and involving order like first or second? So that's a good question. So in a lot of cases where you need fine-tuned control of, like, say, for example, I did a blog series about this where I talked about like a hypothetical coffee shop where, they sold two types of drinks, either coffee or tea. And depending upon, your first question, if you answered tea, the next question would be, what type of tea would you like? Green tea, black tea, whatever. And then, if they said coffee, the next question would be, would you like a medium roast? Like, what kind of roast would you like? And so in that case, like, I'm using the elicit slot directive to to dictate what question I ask next based upon the answer that was given. So with Alexa Conversations, if that order really matters, it might be better in that case to use dialogue management. But if there is, like, for example, with the pet match example, what we do there is, if the like, we've modeled the conversation such that, if the user asks for more information about a dog after the recommendation has been given, then we'll give them more information about that. So you can offer another API after, like, the user can say something that fulfills the information that you need to call another API. So you might be able to like script out, like, oh, okay, I need to make two API calls, and so you could like create your sample dialogue so that, in a way that, okay, this is when I get to this point, I need to call this API, and then this part of the conversation I need to call this API, and you can pass the information from the output of the previous API to the next one that gets called. And the pet match sample shows you how to do that if you go to alexa.ac tutorial. I'll paste that in the chat.
And I just see just Farnaz also joining in here. Farnaz is a product manager at Amazon, and she was my co-speaker, and we spoke about the ASR evaluation tool, shared slots, multi-value slots, and Alexa entities. So if you have any questions regarding that, Farnaz would be also the right person to answer any of those questions. So keep sending those questions in the chats, folks. Sure. Shall we move ahead, Justin, with the next question?
Yes. I'm scrolling through and
lots of questions today.
Yes. No, this is great. Yep. Keep it coming. Let's see. Oh, TradeLast, thank you. TradeLast was providing an answer for synonyms, which is great. The entity resolution. I should have, in fact, when I talked about entity resolution, I should have said synonyms, because entity resolution, what does that mean? Let's see. Oxygen Box asks, is limit access a good approach where you wanted something like a members only skill? Is this? Yes. Yeah. All right. Perfect.
So it's not the right use case for that kind of a scenario. So what limit access actually does is, today we allow users to voice train their Alexa devices, right? Like in my household, I can voice train to say that, hey, this is Karthik speaking to the skill, and my wife who speaks to the device, this is Arpita speaking to the skill. So what limit access would do is, between these two members in the household, it could train that okay, if Karthik speaking, Karthik to access his skill has to give the voice ID, voice pin, and for people, for Arpita who's going to talk to the same skill, it would provide that same experience of ensuring that it's their voice ID that is matching and the pin that is matching. So a members kind of a thing may not be the right use case, but depends on what kind of skill you are building. But yes, that's pretty much where limit access would come into.
Cool. Thanks for answering that question. So we got another question here from Danielle Delay, maybe. What's the Alexa Slack URL?
I've shared the
And
link.
yes,
Yep.
so this is the Slack URL for Alexa Conversations. If you join the hackathon at alexaconversations.devpost.com, you will get an invite to join the Slack channel. So,
Yep.
all right. Let's see, any other questions here? Yeah, and I apologize. I made this text a little bit bigger here. When I go back, if I go back to any other page, I'll remember to make it bigger. Let's see. Any other questions? Oh, cool. Karthik's got posted the Slack link in the chat too.
Yep.
Great. I didn't see that till now. Um,
I did see a question
Right.
about the foregrounding feature,
Yes.
but we are not picking that up right now. But if you are interested, like I said, do attend our office hours at the normal time, and we should be able to help you out with that.
All right. Let's see.
I,
Cool. Drew
Drew is
dropped
here.
in a
Yep.
yeah, Drew's here. And he dropped in a link for ABS questions to sign up for the Device Maker office hours. So check out if you have any ABS questions. I know who was that before? Somebody named it was
Um,
Inoho.
Inoho, yes, that was
Yeah.
Inoho.
Get
Yep.
your ABS questions answered. Go to that link that Drew Mayer AWS posted.
I think there's a question by
Cool.
Alex Chavez then after that, which is, do you have the question, Justin?
Let's see. Let me take a look at this. Copy. All right. All right. Let me format this. Okay. Have the limitations of dialogue management been removed with Alexa Conversations in the sense of being able to use other directives simultaneously? Dialogue management didn't previously, maybe that's changed, didn't allow the use of any other directives concurrently. So I think what you're asking for dialogue management, like you could only send one directive at a time. So if you wanted to do say something, like delegate and elicit a slot at the same time, you wouldn't be able to do that. But I would ask, well, why would you want to do that? Because if you're eliciting a slot, you're specifically telling it what to do next. Whereas if you're doing delegate, you're letting Alexa determine which of the slots that haven't been collected to ask for next. I don't quite understand the use case that you're looking for in that particular example because they're pretty discrete. But with Alexa Conversations, what you do is at each turn of the dialogue, you define a dialogue act. And that dialogue act helps train Alexa Conversations to figure out what it's supposed to do. And there's a dialogue act for what the user says, and there's also dialogue acts for what Alexa says. And so that helps train okay, what's the user doing here? The user is trying to invoke an API, and then when they give a slot value, they're informing a slot value. And then when Alexa's asking for a slot, the skill is requesting for information. And then when information comes back from an API, you're notifying of an API success. So, and then there's also confirm args and things of that nature as well. And so each turn of dialogue, you're determining what the action that's taking place there, and that's why it's called dialogue act. And so you get a dialogue act per line, and I think you can also define multiple. let's see. I'm going to go to the developer console and hang on just a sec. I'll make the screen resolution bigger in just a moment. Bear with me while I open up a sample here.
So we do have a response from Alex, and Alex basically says that the idea was that I cannot use dialogue management and other type of directives like for audio player or multimodal directives.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'm sorry.
exactly.
Yes, so yeah, that's a good question. So I do know that like APL is supported with Alexa Conversations, and maybe somebody who's in the chat can help, you know, list out like what are the things that are supported simultaneously with dialogue management. Sorry, with Alexa Conversations. So like APL is one of those things that with dialogue management works. So sorry, with Alexa Conversations that works. With dialogue management, you weren't able to have an APL directive in the same response. That got updated earlier this year, but not all of the directives are supported.
Oh, cool.
But with Alexa Conversations, you can have APL at all. It's part of your template. So if I click on one of these and I edit the response template, so see we have the request energy here. I'm in Safari. The user interface is going to be a little messy. I should be in a different browser for this, but this will open up another tab, and um, this is the APLA. Oh, oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry. There is the visual response here, and oops, what did I click on? So you can see there is a visual response, and if I click create new visual response, then I can drop, let's see, we'll call this, what was this, request energy. Energy slot display. And if I start from scratch, then I can now edit this. It'll open up in a new browser window, and I can drop in my APL document here
Ah, okay.
and design. And so you can do APL documents with Alexa Conversations, which is nice. I don't know what other things it supports and doesn't support, as far as like audio directives and other things. So one of the things that Alexa Conversations does support is APL for audio. So you're able to do some pretty cool stuff with APL for audio, like compose your responses, have some randomizers and some other things like that. And so, you can do some pretty robust stuff with your responses there. But I don't know all the directives that are supported and not supported with Alexa Conversations. Hopefully that answers some of your question. Maybe somebody in the chat can help fill in the gaps that I left. Let's see. Thanks for capturing my questions. Thank you, Inoho. Let's see. We've got Shadufa. All right. Great helpful information on Alexa Conversations, but can you control polyvoice, the voice of the delegated Alexa conversation? So Alexa Conversations supports APLA, and you can define SSML. So I do believe polyvoices are supported.
Yep.
I actually haven't tried a polyvoice in an APLA template, but I do believe that they are supported. So I think you can swap those out. It should. Let's see. Is there any way that Alexa can tell you the decimal numbers?
Maybe you could use SSML, right? SSML allows you to do that.
Yes. With SSML, you should be able to
speak it in a different way. Speak it in a different way, right?
You can set it to these. So there's SSML is speech synthesis markup language, and you can wrap tag. It basically looks like HTML. You can wrap parts of your sentence in these tags and provide as a response. And I just realized we're 3 minutes away from 10:30.
Yep.
And we have quite a few questions here. looks like we're going to run out of time. I'm going to capture the remaining part of the chat here. And what I will do is all the Alexa conversations related questions that we didn't get to during the office hours today, I will provide answers to in the Slack chime room. Sorry, not chime room, in the Slack room.
Yep.
So that's an incentive for you all to go to Slack and get your follow up for your questions that I wasn't able to address today in office hours. So let me copy and all of this, and we'll paste it. Actually, let's create a new file. Those are the questions that I didn't get to. So we will. I will do that today. So if you're not already subscribed to the Slack channel, please do so. And I will provide answers to the questions that you asked that I didn't get a chance to answer that are Alexa Conversations related in that Slack channel.
And I just pasted the Slack channel address just once again for folks who would want to access the Slack channel. Here's the Slack channel link. I just shared it in here. And let me just share the hackathon resources as well so that you guys don't miss that.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. So, hey, so that's it for today, Justin, then?
Yes, we're at time. So, yeah, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I got a lot of great questions. Sorry we didn't get to address all of them live on air, but I'm going to go through the remaining questions that we didn't get to and answer them on Slack, so they'll be there. And then we're going to be doing, so after today, we're going to be doing weekly Alexa Conversations dedicated office hours every Monday at 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. So you'll have an hour to ask your questions. And, if we don't get through all of the questions like we did today, I will take those and answer them on Slack. So it gives you, incentive to join the Slack group, interact with the community, learn, maybe you find somebody that you want to team up with. So, that's a good thing for you all to use. You also get access to me and other experts at Amazon that can help you and answer your questions and unblock you during the hackathon. And then also tomorrow in that same Slack group, we're going to be doing another AMA. So, in that we'll be doing on the, I don't know how to make the text bigger. Okay, cool. Command plus. So in this Alexa Skills Challenge, Alexa Conversations, we'll be doing an I'm sorry. It'll be in the Ask Me Anything channel here, where we're going to be doing the Ask Me Anything for tomorrow at 9 a.m. So, bring your questions and, again, I'm going to provide answers to the questions I wasn't able to answer today on Slack, but we're also going to be doing an AMA tomorrow. So you'll have plenty of opportunities to ask your questions and get them answered. And if you didn't have questions today, but while you're developing, you come up with something, you can, post your questions. And if you're a member of the Slack group, you don't have to wait until office hours or the AMA. You can post your question at any time, and myself or one of my colleagues will get to you. We also have the forums where you can ask your questions there. And Kirk, if you're in the chat, could you please provide the link to the forum? And if you tag your post, tag it as Alexa-conversations, so that way we can easily find all posts on the forum easy. So that allows us to figure out here are the questions for Alexa Conversations and get to them and answer them. So thank you all for tuning in, and Karthik, I'll turn it over for you to sign off.
Yep, thanks, Justin. And not much questions for a lot of features that I spoke about, but if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Twitch or on Twitter. My handle is pkarthikar. Anything about multi-value slots or all the features that I spoke about, feel free to reach out to me. I'm also on the conversation Slack as well. Do hit me up there and I'd be able to help you out with that. And with that, it's time for us to say bye-bye. And thanks everyone for joining in, and hope all of you have signed up for the hackathon, and all the best for the hackathon. Bye-bye. Good night from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you.